Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this channel's probably first Let's Play in like over a year, playing Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles. Now, this game is very near and dear to my heart. My screen name, Ajora, comes from this game, from the main antagonist, and it's something that I really grew up loving playing on the PSP, with the War of the Lions translation. Now, a little bit of history about the game, and this release of it, is Final Fantasy Tactics released initially on the PS1 back in the late 90s, and it was a real groundbreaker in terms of the tactics RPG genre. It was released under the directorship of Matsumi Tsuno, who was the director of the Tactics Ogre series, and also the director of one of my favorite games in general, that was released on the Wii, which is Platinum Games' first ever release of Mad World. Actually, he was the chief writer, not the director, but same difference. This game is based on the history of England and the history of the Wars of the Roses, which was a succession crisis that was fought between the Lancasterians and the Yorks, the Red and White Rose faction, and after the fall of the Plantagenet dynasty. This is reflected in the game by the fall of the Akasha royal dynasty and the fight between the two royal dukes for succession of the realm of Ivalice, which is based on England. Initially, this game released in the late 90s, and then in the early 2000s, the Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions translation came out with additional features, a multiplayer mode, the rendezvous missions, and a redone translation, because the original game, the classics that you see over here, wasn't a good translation of the Japanese text. The Ivalice Chronicles released a couple months ago, and it's been something on my watch list for a while, but a friend actually bought it for me so that I could do this Let's Play. This game has a better translation, a more accurate translation, and comes with full voice acting, which is a huge boost. So, without further ado, let's start the game. The version also boasts higher resolution graphics with an updated user interface, along with improved controls and optimized game balance, making it an ideal choice for returning players and newcomers alike. In addition to controller support, the enhanced version also allows the use of mouse and keyboard, which is really cool. I'm playing with a controller right now because it's what Steam recommended, but if you are a mouse and keyboard player primarily, like I am, you're welcome to use it. I also like the increased balancing because there are a couple of fights later in the game that are notoriously difficult and were proven soft locks if you didn't have the right party composition or didn't do enough grinding. So hopefully they fixed that a lot. So we can see a basic controller diagram. I'm sure I'll figure this out. It's been a while since I played this game, but I 100%ed it, or got close to 100%ing it on the PSP. So hopefully my skills haven't degraded too much. So it seems we have a couple different starting difficulty levels. This wasn't in the original game; it was just one hard difficulty. As those of you who played the PS1 port would know, the game was very difficult on the PS1. Squire mode features easier battles, allowing you to concentrate on the story. Knight mode is carefully balanced to allow you to experience the thrill of battle, basically your medium or average difficulty. And Tactician mode offers greater challenge with more demanding battles. I think I'm going to stick with Knight mode, the default. So this is where you put in your birthday. In the original game and here, your star sign is based on your birthday that you put into the game on the Ivalician calendar. And your star sign has certain compatibilities with other star signs. So, for example, like an Aries would be stronger against some star signs than others. And it allows for increased damage against some, and you take increased damage from others. I'll put a chart somewhere on the screen in editing that has a really good chart for this sort of thing. But I personally, my birthday, if y'all didn't know, is March 23rd, so I was born on Aries the 3rd.
I am Arazlam J.D. For the greater part of my life, I have been a student of Ivalice's middle age. You are familiar with the War of the Lions, no? It was a bitter war of succession that rent the land of Ivalice in two. Here we first find mention of Delita Hyrule, the hero who would draw the curtain on this dark act of our history. His is a tale of great renown, familiar to all who dwell within our land. But, as we well know, what the eye sees is oftentimes a mere fragment of the truth. There was another young man, Ramza Beowulf, the youngest son of House Beowulf, famed for producing leaders of men. There is no official record of the role he played on history's stage. However, according to the Jurai papers, which had long lain concealed in church archives, this forgotten young man was in fact the true hero. The church maintains he was a heretic of the highest order, an inciter of unrest, who blasphemed the gods and profaned the godly. Which of these two accounts is to be believed? Join me now in my search to uncover the answer, the truth.
So the first part of this game is just going to be a big cutscene simulator, but this is my first time seeing it too, so I'm gonna have all the cutscenes play throughout the Let's Play, even if it may be a bit plot heavy for some of y'all. I also forgot to mention that the Ivalice Chronicles also has somewhat of an updated OST, which is also really cool. I'd also advise y'all to keep a lookout, or keep your ears open for a lot of musical leitmotifs. This game makes heavy use of leitmotifs to signify which characters you should be paying attention to.
O Father, abandon not your way with children of Ivalice, but deliver us from our sins, that we might know salvation.
Lady Ophelia, it is time.
I'll not be much longer, Agrius.
Your escort has already arrived.
Please, heed the good lady's words, Highness. You must hurry.
Still in here, are you? It's been the better part of an hour.
Gafgarian, you forget yourself, sir. You are in the presence of the princess.
Mayhap bowed heads would less offend.
Gary,
you
you're
will do
such
well
a
to
dick.
waste less time on idle pleasantries.
I see even
He's
the
a
noble
wonderful
order
character.
of the Northern Sky cannot rid itself of vulgar knaves.
A guard captain in these rain-sodden hinterlands ought not to expect chivalry. We are in the employ of the Order, not of it. Our pay does not cover trite courtesies to the likes of you.
Govern your tongue.
Enough. Let us be on our way.
The Father watch over you, child.
And you, Elder.
Milady, the enemy is upon us.
Duke Altana's men?
Seems we have a little bit
We
of
are paid
intrigue.
for this. Time to earn our keep. What is it, Ramza? You above getting paid to do a job?
I'm a knight no longer. Just another sellsword.
Right then. To battle.
So here comes our tutorial.
Deliver us, O Lord.
So I might as well take some time over here while we're doing the tutorial to explain how the game's fight system works. So we get a panoramic view of the enemy combatants and our combatants. Our side is in blue, the enemy's in red.
You there, wench. It is useless to resist. You will surrender the princess. If not, well, I would hate to see anything happen to that pretty face of yours.
This knight has no idea what he's talking about. Agrius is a beast in this game.
Ahead on assault. These swords of Goltana, lack wits one and all.
In that case, we should be able to handle this without you, Gafgarian.
Mayhap you could, but there's no money to be made in that. Lad, Ramza, with me. Kill them all! Leave no man standing!
You would have us slaughter them? Are you mad? Kill them here, and you'll have played into Duke Goltana's hands. We need only put them to rout.
I find dead men rout more easily.
That's a funny line.
My turn.
So, a little bit about the combat of the game, which I'm sure the tutorial will explain. But you get a panoramic view of your battle chessboard, I guess. And in this battle, we can control only Ramza. The rest of the allies are controlled by the computer. In other battles, in upcoming battles, every unit will be controlled by you unless you set it to auto battle. Right now, we have Ramza, who is classed as a level 9 knight, or squire. Gafgarian is classed as I think a dark knight, or like a blood knight. He has a unique class specific to him, and he has special HP training abilities. Agrius is classed as a holy knight, and basically just an upgraded version of the regular knight job. We have a lady knight in the back, and then a chemist further behind. On the left side of the screen is the combat timeline. Each unit will act according to their place in the timeline, indicated by the number. 1 is displayed for the unit whose turn is to act. Hold LT and press up or down to scroll through the combat timeline and view information on each unit. So this is basically your turn order. So, we can move, we have abilities, we can wait, which passes our turn, and then we have a status. So we're going to move. And the highlighted tiles show how far we can move ahead. So we can choose a frontal assault, we can choose to flank. As Ramza, we don't exactly have a lot of ranged options, so we'll have to get up close and personal. So now we choose abilities. The attack command is the most basic form of offense. Its range varies according to the weapon. Abilities have many uses, such as attacking, healing, and providing support. Some consume MP, or items. So, in Ramza's metal commands, which is Ramza's specific job commands as he's stuck as a squire for basically the whole game, he has Rush, which attacks opponents by ramming an adjacent unit and has a chance of knocking it back. The damage dealt varies greatly. This is basically a tackle. Throw Stone is lobbing a stone at a distant unit and has a chance of knocking it back. Salve is a battlefield treatment that removes status effects from an adjacent unit. You can't use it on yourself. Enchant sacrifices HP to restore the HP of an adjacent unit. So basically you're just giving your HP over to someone else. So we're going to attack, and we have a broadsword.
It's over! I have so much left to give.
And then after your turn is done, you can choose which direction to face. Basically, if an enemy moves into your attack range and they're facing you, you'll deal extra damage. You also deal extra damage if you attack from behind.
Right then.
So Gafgarian is controlled again by the computer, and he has special Fell Knight job commands.
My fate is sealed.
Right.
Lady Agrias is a Holy Knight, and she has also special job commands that allow her to do more ranged attacks.
Ready.
We can win this.
So you see, he's coming up to attack me from the back, and he'll do extra damage. See, I got the crap beaten out of me.
The next move is key.
Excuse me, I think I called him a chemist earlier. He's actually a squire. But hey.
By divine will unencumbered, by darkness empowered. Shadow Blade, farewell.
But how?
So you see the Gafgarian's kind of a beast. So she's going to cast Judgment
This
Blade.
fleeting life, cling to it not. Embrace inevitable end. Judgment Blade! Nothing to fear.
So she'll probably move, but yep, she'll just attack from behind, so she does extra damage. And she'll actually rend armor.
Now's my chance.
So rend armor will destroy a piece of the enemy combatant's armor, and will lower the defenses. She's also doing the same thing. She's basically softening up the target. So she actually got parry, so if a unit has a shield equipped, they have a higher chance to parry the attack, basically blocking the blow. What do I want to do? So you can actually target your allies, and sometimes this can be helpful, such as when you're trying to level up an ally, you can beat them up, basically, to help increase your own stats. But we're not going to do that now because it's kind of counterproductive. So we confirm the attack on the enemy. We're going to attack for 40 damage.
Pay for that.
And now he's critically injured.
I may not survive this.
So he's gonna attack for 36 damage directly to the back, and then he's gonna move to try and get a recover, I would expect. So one of our allies just died, so that's not great. We don't like that when that happens.
My life. Over.
Ready. Right.
And you can also scroll around the battlefield if you lost track of a unit or you're trying to look for different elevation. Elevation will come into play a little later, though.
I have you now!
So we knock them all out. Uh-oh.
No. Lady Ovelia.
Looks like it was all just a feint.
This way. Hurry up. And try making a little less noise.
I'll not take orders from you!
You've quite a mouth on you, Princess.
Hold there!
I think not. If you feel wronged, blame yourself or the father.
So this line in the original translation and PS1 translation was actually pretty infamous. It was blame yourself or God. They used the capital G God a lot more in the PS1 translation, and it was implied in the PS1 translation that the Church of Glabados, the Catholic Church stand-in for this game, was monotheistic, whereas in the War of the Lions in this translation, it's implied to be polytheistic.
This cannot be.
Delita. He lives.
Looks like Ramza knows our
Why
abductor.
does he serve under the banner of Duke Goltana? I do not understand.
Records of the hero Delita Hyrule
First appear 1 year before the outbreak of the War of the Lions. The loss of the 50 Years' War saw Ivalice paying enormous reparations and ceding vast swathes of land to Ordalia, the victors.
So, in this case...
Knights and sellswords
I'll finish up when
returned from
the
front to
narration
find their
finishes.
homes razed and loved ones slain. Compounding their woes, they were denied pay for their service and stripped of their livelihoods. This ill treatment led many to abandon their fealty to the crown and the nobility. Once loyal soldiers became rogues and traitors, donning the thief's cloak and plotting treason. It was a time of great unrest for Ivalice. Murder and theft were commonplace. Many were the young adventurer and mage who stepped forward to counter this threat. Of these, the city of Garland too saw its share. It was there that our tale began, a year earlier.
Did you hear? Another Wayne was struck last night on its way to Egros.
So, to finish up my point from earlier, remember when I said that the plot of the game took inspiration from medieval English history? The 100 Years' War in this case in Ordalia is meant to represent, the 50 Years' War in this case in Ordalia is meant to be a stand-in for the 100 Years' War with France that the Plantagenets, under the English, fought as a sort of formal and mercenary conflict over the course of a century for lands in France that were contested between the Plantagenets and the Valois dynasty. In this case, after the 100 Years' War ended in our real life, the English devolved into a civil war and a war of succession after the Plantagenet dynasty failed to produce a male heir. This civil war was fought between the Lancastrians and the Yorkists, who fought under the banners of the Red and White Rose. In this game, the war is fought between the Duke Larg of the Northern Sky, of the White Lion, and Duke Goltana, the Southern Sky, and the Black Lion. And those are our stand-ins. And our stand-ins for the Plantagenets are meant to be the Atkashan royal dynasty, of whom Avilia is their sole heir, or at least their sole heir that we know of now.
The Corpse Brigade again.
'Tis long past the hour for drills. What is happening, I wonder? Delita, what do you suppose this is about?
So it seems as though, when Delita and Ramza were in military academy together during a military training to become knights, they knew each other.
I could hazard a guess.
Oh? Do tell.
I think Duke Larg is coming to Garland.
Duke Larg? Why?
Not just the Duke. The Marquis Elmdor de Limbri, too.
That's the first I've heard of it. This has not the sound of a state visit.
All of Ivalice is in turmoil. The Order's supposed to be keeping things under control, but the fact is, they number too few.
And they mean to bolster their numbers with us.
All right, everybody, fall in!
You know, this does kind of give me the vibes of being in a military college. If y'all don't know, I actually went to one of the United States' military colleges.
The has an assignment for its Knight's Apprentice.
And I was still a cadet when I started this channel.
As I'm sure you're already aware, the number of brigands roaming Galleon is on the rise. Among them, the Corpse Brigade, a seditious lot with a grudge against the very crown they had served. Rogues such as they must be dealt with. The Order has been commanded to undertake an operation to eliminate the brigade. An operation of a grand scale. We will not be acting alone. The Order will be joined by, among others, His Excellency Duke Larg's Royal Guard. This will leave Egro's castle undermanned. Your task will be to proceed there and support us from the rear by bolstering its defenses. Remember, you represent the Academy itself. Noble or otherwise, your actions reflect upon us all. Fight with honor and trust in your steel. 'Twould seem the time to take up arms is already upon you, young apprentices. I've just received word that a band of thieves, routed by our knights, flees here to Garland, where the bustling streets will only aid their escape. We will move to stop them and finish the task of our brothers. You, young apprentices, will accompany us. This is but a squall before the storm of battle. Prepare yourselves at once. Dismissed.
Let's be on our way.
Alright, it seems we have our mission. So this is the world map where you can see the geography of Ivalice. You may now navigate the world map. To travel around Ivalice, position the cursor with left stick and select a location. Moving to locations marked with a diamond or a diamond with a chevron underneath will progress the story. The locations list. While on the world map, pressing X will display a list of locations. From there, you can choose your next destination, view the types of stock sold at each settlement, and other information. Alright, well it seems we have our mission, and we will be continuing this on the next episode. Our mission now is to defeat the band of thieves that fled to Garland while supporting the Order of the Northern Sky, of whom we are a cadet. Right now we can learn about the Royal Military Academy at Garland. Boasting 700 years of history, many students graduate from this prestigious institution with aspirations to become great leaders. And over here we have the Magic City of Garland, home to the Royal Academy for the Magical Arts, famed for producing Elidibus, mage hero of the 50 Years' War. Keep that name in mind later, Elidibus, because we'll be visiting him way later in the story. Other than that, I think after 30 or so minutes, we are good to log off for the day. I really appreciate y'all watching, and next episode we will be taking on the Thieves in Garland.